welcome to Focus on Liberia. Ansony Sieh, your host. We broadcast from Atlanta, our headquarters. Our goals, as I always try to tell you, are so simplistic: to educate, to elevate, and to promote all things Liberia. I ask that you share the show, and please do. And that is the only favor that I am requesting. I have a major topic, and I have a couple of issues to talk about very briefly before I go into the major topic. This will be informative, it will be analytical, and I'm sure you're going to like it. So, welcome. And let us now bring you the topic for today: the narrative of Waka to take or not to take the criminal witness stand. It was reported that Ambassador Joseph Yaman Waka, former vice president of the Republic of Liberia, is more than likely to take the criminal witness stance, meaning he will be a criminal witness in what is a criminal case against Alexander Belande Cummings. His side has been thinking and processing whether or not he should appear or not appear. They are more likely thinking that he should not appear for so many reasons, but at the same time, they are fearing what may be a repercussion should he not appear. I will do my best to bring you the analysis on what will happen, what will be said, what will be the narrative should Waka decide, or should Waka refuse not to appear, or should Waka make a decision to appear. What will the narrative be? What will people be saying? What will be some of the things that's going to happen possibly either way he goes? But before we can get to that major topic for today's discussion and presentation, there are a couple of things that I need to bring to your attention as well. These things are serious. They have been talked about in the country, and not only in the country, in countries everywhere Liberians are, because Liberians are always attached to that piece of land called Liberia. All right, for the soul, because like someone said, that is the only country we cannot be deported from. So, folks, let us go to it. The first thing on my menu before we get to our main topic is the death, mysterious death of Princess Cooper, a young lady who was reported that died in Monrovia of recent. And fast forward, we were told that an autopsy was to be conducted. It has been conducted, and they are saying she died from tuberculosis. Seriously. So this is a young woman who there was no report of her being ill. And on the day of her death, it was reported that she has made a phone call and has alerted a friend as to where she was. And then fast forward, when they went to look to that particular place, she was found lying in a pool of blood. Blood was oozing out of her mouth and her nose. Mysterious circumstance, right? And so when it was reported of late, yesterday, by the way, that the autopsy that was requested and conducted has revealed that she died from tuberculosis, people are like, what in the world are these people saying? No one is believing what these people are saying, because We know TB, as it is popularly referred to in Liberia, tuberculosis. When you have it, your family will get to know at some point in time. It will not, first of all, you will start coughing. There has not been any report of Princess being ill with tuberculosis and that she was coughing at some point. I've seen people who have carried a disease called tuberculosis. It will drain you to the point that you will completely lose weight, and people will start to see your bones, start high treat people. And I also know that in most of the hospitals in Liberia, Monrovia in particular, that I know for the Fire Redemption Hospital, there are TB sections. There be medication. For the most part, for TB, they put you on medication and you can get treated. Many people survive this thing. And so to say that this girl died from tuberculosis, and now can we also say that this is the first time that she has experienced these symptoms, and for the first time she's being attacked by the symptoms, she was completely struck or dead? Seriously? So if you look at the whole story, all the pieces of the puzzle that have been come to light, you can only wonder and also conclude that this thing is not adding up. And so, folks, as we speak, there is another autopsy that's been requested, and we heard that the president is ordering, or giving his blessing to this second autopsy, and that it should be the family who should decide who the pathologist should be, and the government of Liberia going to pay for it. So how did the whole thing get to the president? I know there have been noise that, see what has happened. The president has not spoken. Look, folks, we got to be serious here. Some of us, we don't think the way people think, and it's good, right? We all think differently, but to be fair here, to those of us in the United States, if what we know to be a homicide, and that is my position here, to be a homicide, if a homicide happened in a community, when the police is called to investigate, if you are in a state where your state governor speak, in the United States, with Joe Biden intervene in what is a homicide case that the police can actually handle. So how did the whole thing leave from the hands of the police? How did the whole thing leave from the hands of the Justice Ministry and went all the way to the top, the president? How? Do you people think about it that way? I know there's just everything now in Liberia is so political, right? This is a homicide. This is how I'm calling it, because this girl made a phone call. She never told anybody she was sick. No family member was ever aware she was sick. She did not display any symptom of tuberculosis in no shape or form at no time. We haven't heard that as we speak. Her family members have not said anything. So how can this be tuberculosis? So to the point I was making earlier, folks, how did the whole thing get to the president? Why is it that when something happened, we all say, let the president speak? I agree, I see it, I get it. When mysterious deaths continue to pile up in the country, instilling fear in citizens and in the country, the leader must speak. I get it. But hey, folks, it makes no sense. And even bringing the president in the picture will politicize the entire thing. And so this is what it has come to now. Now, some people who have called for the president to intervene or speak or say something, now he has said something. Will you now say that there is a political phase now because the government is already being accused? And rightfully so, people have to accuse the government because this government, this police has not been consistent in concluding cases relating to mysterious death in the country. They have not been able to do a good job whatsoever. We heard about the missing boys. Where is that story? Samose was the one who dispatched the 3 boys. We have not seen those boys as yet. Samose is still a free man. Nothing has come out of this case. I don't want to bore you with the death of the auditors. This justice ministry came and said there was no foul play. And look, the deaths that are mysterious in our country are endless. They are heartbreaking. And no Liberian should die under any mysterious circumstance as he has been. And that we have a police that should be able to carry on investigation and bring these kind of cases to closure. And they have not been up to the task. And that they are saying their own conducted autopsy, and this is tuberculosis, is non-believable. Some people believe they are trying to shield somebody. I heard that there was an investigation going on about a Lebanese man, probably connected to the property at which a princess was found dead. So if the government, according to them, the autopsy was done by pathologists who are qualified and trained by the government with the funding from the United Nations Development Agency, I think it's UNDP. These people are trained. They conducted an autopsy. They said that tuberculosis. So why are you investigating a Lebanese man? You could not investigate him. And now an autopsy said it's tuberculosis, and that is time you want to investigate the man when you now know the cause of death. Something is not adding up. So I get it. This need for a second autopsy to confirm the previous one that people are questioning in the first place. Look, either way you look at this, the main fact that this girl did not show any symptom of tuberculosis, her family had no knowledge. She was never sick with any tuberculosis. She never went to the hospital. She did not display any symptom. Not until that fateful day, after she placed a phone call and notified a friend who would not come and tell a story that is also questionable. It can only add to the suspicion and disbelief that many people are having, and rightfully so. And so, folks, this get untimely death is now being added to the many that have happened with no closure, instilling fears in our citizens and in the country. And this is a bad image, and this is bad news for the country. And worst of all, those who are political actors and are tied to these politicians and worship them, they politicize everything. Maybe they are right because the police is incompetent. Sad indeed. And so, with this political face now, president stepping in, and he's going to pay for the pathologist who's going to conduct the autopsy. Where political actors now say, well, the president paid, and you think he's not going to get the result because the government is being accused anyway. So, folks, we have to get this thing right. Why couldn't the police be the one to handle it? Or because the police not doing a better job? I think so. Is the justice ministry or minister credible here? Some people don't believe him because he has a history of telling the opposite in cases that we know that have overwhelming evidence, and he will come and tell a different story, one of which is the death of Gifty and Abbott, one of which is the $25 million when the report from the government-owned agency, the General Auditing Commission, said people took money, they were contacted, and they said, no, we were not giving money by anybody, suggesting that the money was misapplied and given to other people and the money was squandered. But the justice minister said, not a penny went missing in that 25 million. This is the history of the justice minister. So the distrust is overwhelming, and so Liberia will continue to remain in a state of confusion and distrust, and everything will be politicized because trust is broken. That would do it on Princess case. Now, another thing that people have been talking about, is this much talk about Invincible Park, Invincible Sport Park, built by the government. The government took money from the National Port Authority, took money from the Maritime Authority also, and then they built this sport park, Invincible Sport Park. My evaluation of that part is that is a modern, decent, and satisfactory. That's the word I want to use. Satisfactory playground for kids. I'm not sure it has reached the standard of what we know to be a sport park. Yes, there are a lot of things that it has 2 basketball courts. It has 2 courts for football. It has 2 courts for, I think, for tennis. So many different courts and different pitches, are there in that particular park for sports activities. There's a playground for children and all that. So by Liberia standard, if there's anything called Liberia standard, I would say this is a decent, satisfactory park, playground for children. That should not be considered, what you call a sport park, but it is a decent playground. I just wish that we can get many of those built all around the country, possibly, or in some major counties. We should do that. It would be a good thing that the children can have places to play. That would be a good thing, that they can come together to play again. That would be a good thing. And so if I want to come to the politics of it, where I try to always focus my attention, the government of Liberia, through George Weah, has accomplished something, either way you look at it. I'm the critical guy. I'm critical on everybody. I'm on nobody's side, but I will tell the truth for what the truth is. That place, opposite former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf residence, right by the road, right by Springfield, everybody who knows Monrovia have passed right there. During the time of war, the women protested to that place. A lot of crusades being held to that place, or were held at that place. And most of folks, that place at some point turned to a place for defecation. People will go and ease themselves. That place was being polluted. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and all other government before her were there. That piece of land was just right there. No one had cared to develop that piece of land. No one had made any effort to put anything on that piece of land. Joshua and his government made a decision to put something there. At least they put something there that can be useful to some people, that can be meaningful to some people. I believe they spent $2.7 million from what I read and been reported. That's what they spent. And again, to Liberian standard, is satisfactory. There are so many places there. And more so, they added a housing unit. From what I read, they built about 30 housing units. And according to what I read also, they are to build additional 50 units. That is significant. And then I watched a video of one old man who was celebrating. She was so happy. I believe she's one of those who homes had to be demolished so that they would build the 30 units that they built to give the place a much more befitting lift or face. So this old man was being given one of the homes that was built as her resident. Her life has changed from a zen ramp probably to something decent that she did not even dream about. And this old man said something that is profound. She said, hey, anywhere George Weah goes, he will leave before evil can come to that place. In other words, she was saying, no evil will befall President Weah because of what George Weah has done. Folks, politics aside, and I'm not part of that, your politics, I am in the middle. I'm a media guy. The fact is, what George Weah and the CDC government has accomplished should not and cannot be dismissed. Eddie did not do it. Judy Bryan did not do it. Taylor did not do it. No other administration did it, and it did something. It looks good. That is the fact. It might not be up to your international standard. They must be commended for what they have done, period. No if and no but about it. And that is the fact. Somebody is happy today because of what they've done. Somebody will have a much better playground because of what they've done. Period. Now, but there is a tabata. I repeat, there is a tabata about the whole program that have marked the dedication of that program. Tabata in Mansa Eastern language is complete nonsense. So, this is George Weah, President of the Republic, an iconic superstar when it comes to soccer. He earned all the titles there was. He will retire from football, I think about 3 times. He had a retirement program. And now the opening of this little park, not park, but playground for kids, as I see it to actually be, he is putting his face all over it because he has built it. In the United States, where I've led and been trained, leaders do not build monuments for themselves while they occupy public office. No. It is a conflict of interest to do so. In terms of precedence, bad precedence. It's a form of corruption in the first place. You're trying to idolize yourself by using state funds or public funds. That is an unacceptable practice where I live. But in my country, everything is different. Leaders build monuments for themselves while they serve their people. They will not give the opportunity to others to recognize them for whatever contribution they have done. That is a complete tabata. Now, that is not the only tabata. There are so many tabata I'm going to give to you so quickly. So, we have football boots. We have jerseys. The one he had when he was with Team A, Team B, Team C, all had to be displayed at this park, purposely, in my judgment, meant for children to play. President, we have fingerprint has to be on everything now. And then here comes the protocol officer, chief of protocol of Liberia. Now, there's reports that there is something going on there. I don't get into the G's and fries, but maybe that is significant to juice this thing up. So the chief protocol officer of Liberia, Joshua Booth, that he retired over 3 times and several years ago, he built a playground. To dedicate it, they have to bring his football boots. Why does everything has to be about this man? The title president supersedes all other thing in our country. It is the highest honor and privilege that anybody can attain in their lifetime in our country. But for Weah, that is not enough. He has to be a face of something they claim they have done to benefit their citizens. His boots, the chief of protocol got in Joshua Booth to build a gigantic boot of Joshua, and she have to get in and take picture and put it on Facebook. Folks, do you see the mind of our people? So actually, though this thing, they claim that it was made or is made, right, for citizens to have a play to play, but now they are using the occasion to celebrate the president, to glorify him, to adore him, to worship him, to pacify him. His football boots that he retired several years ago, now has to be at that place. And now President Weah have to call his former football friends all around the world and bring them to the country to dedicate a playground that he built. He brought his friends so that they can see what he's doing. In the era of sport, the last time I checked, Lone Star did not qualify on his watch. The last time I checked, Lone Star did not even qualify for the African Cup before even talking about the World Cup, and we have been doing terribly on his watch. And yet, all players, former players around the world have to be called because we have built a playground so that they can see his boots, so that they can see his picture, so that they can celebrate him. Everything is about President Weah. So here is the deal. That play that they built, it said within the territorial confines of the city of Monrovia. If that is a yes, couldn't the city mayor be the one to dedicate that place? It has to be President Weah. Just as he would dedicate a market in Negro Town when we have a governor who is a local government official who could do that. He will go and dedicate a market in Omega Tower that I believe is in Pinsville when we have the Pinsville city mayor who could go and dedicate that. Or if the city mayor could not go to be the one to dedicate the place, could it have been dedicated by the Minister of Youth and Sports? Or maybe the Deputy Minister for Sports? Could somebody, other than President Weah, put their face and fingerprint and do this thing? Does it have to be President Weah? But hey, I am not naive. I look at all the puzzles of politics. Though I may disagree with it, that does not mean I'm going to dismiss whatever political significance it may have or whatever political benefit it will bring to the political actor who plays that way. These are politicians. They calculate and they add. So this is Weah calculation. If I put my face on it, if I'm the one who dedicate this thing, the voters will remember me. That's how he sees it. And I will guarantee you, it will work for him with some people. In the case of the Oma, that Oma will vote for Joshua. Probably there was this Oma who was cashing Yakba. I don't know, many of you know what is Yakba. And was so disappointed. And now the CDC government have been able to meet a need in her life, probably that she did not dream about. A home befitting of a citizen. That is why she had gotten. And she's dancing and singing. That woman probably had the CDC or President Weah not done this project, probably she would not have voted for them. Because my sense is that before this project, there was never a time she have come in direct contact to become a beneficiary of this administration. But now she has become a direct beneficiary. She will vote for Weah, and I can promise you that she will. That is the case with some people with markets in communities where they build those markets. That is the case with other projects where they build those projects. So, folks, President Weah, though I disagree that the president should not be the one dedicating every project, but he's doing it, calculating politically so that it will pay him political dividend. He's running for president again, folks. What would he rather do? So that is what he's doing. And so, politically speaking, in terms of calculation, to get the political dividend at the end of the day, especially when 2023 is coming back, whatever way you look at it, folks, that is a smart political calculation. Except that with my way of thinking, I look at things fair and squarely. I look at things in the conventional order. Because the conventional order is a fairer order where everybody can feel respected and be given their space and their authority to execute their duties and responsibilities. If you are the mayor of a city and there is a project, why not the mayor dedicate it? If it is something that got to do with sport, do we have a sport minister to dedicate it? Does the president have to be everywhere? I'm saying no. There are some projects, though, given how monumental they are, The president must be there, and I get that. But it can't be every little project. But this is how the president and his team have chosen to play, and they play in this way because they know, and I agree with them, they are right. Will display it, and it will show, and it will sell their president, who is ultimately their candidate, that he is in charge and that he cares. That is why they are doing it, and I couldn't disagree with them that it will pay them dividend when they do it that way. And if they don't do it that way, it might pay them less dividend. So that is the politics, and you can disagree with me, and that is the beauty of this discussion. Let us make progress here. And so, folks, let me conclude before I move to the next issue. So let us emphasize that that project is a meaningful project. You can disagree with it, but it means something to Liberians. And I gave you an example of a woman who it means so much to, and because of that, she have a change of mind. That place has gotten a befitting live. People will not defecate. We can only hope that all the measures will be put into place. Maybe a contractor will be in charge of cleaning the place. And if not, if it will be placed under the Morea City Corporation, that they will assign people for the maintenance of the place, that those people will be on salary, and that they will be there every day, and that everybody will respect the rules so that that place can be maintained. And I will recommend that this thing be replicated in other counties and in other communities in Liberia. Look, folks, you like the government, you don't like the government, it is a Liberian government. Whatever they do, if only it can be maintained, if people can be given the opportunity to participate and get employment, then at least we are thinking like real human beings who care about our country. But that said, let me bring you the other issue I want to talk about before I go into my major topic here, which is Runyan Samukai. Do you know the guy, Runyan Samukai? Runyan Samukai contested on the CPP ticket, and he came from the Unity Party. He contested, he won. But because he was already in trouble with the law because of a corruption allegation that had been haunting him, that he was involved with during his time in the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration, he went to court. He did not win the court. The court found him guilty. And so when he won as senator, he was stopped from taking office because he was legally disabled. Because of a legal disability, he was stopped from taking that seat. And the judgment was that he was going to go to jail and pay the money that he and others have stolen from the Liberian people, or the AFL money that they have stolen. Fast forward, President, we have made a decision granting him clemency and freeing him from jail time, and that he will also only have to go to the court to settle the money that he and others have stolen, embezzled, or corrupted. This Runyan Samukai guy, the CDC made the calculation because the CDC does have interest in Lofa County. There is a pending by-election scheduled for May the 10th. So the CDC calculated and said, look, now that we play political harbor using the legal case against the guy, denying him his representation and rendering that particular seat vacant, and now that we have an interest, the best things to do is to grant this guy a clemency, get him out of the way. He's not going to run. Chances that when we give him this gift of freedom and not going to jail, maybe he will come in our corner to support a candidate that the CDC will put forth, or even if he does not, he will not be inclined enough to go against the CDC ticket, because bear you in mind, Runyan Samukai won that Lofa seat with a political tsunami victory. He swept the whole thing. He got the highest amount of votes. Those that even came a little close were not close enough. He won this thing in landslide, overwhelmingly. So the CDC knew his strength. So they got him out of the way using the court process. And they tried to pacify him so that he would not become a storming block to their chances in Lofa County. And so they release him to quiet him. Guess what Runyan Samukai is doing? The guy who has been forgiven by President Weah is now campaigning in Lofa County. How does this man think? How do these leaders we have think? First of all, he is in political error. He is in error. Now, I'm not shouldn't put politics away. He's in error. Here's the deal, folks. So this guy, his party, the Unity Party, is at the neck. The Unity Party has selected a candidate. That candidate has now been shortlisted to be a candidate in Lofa County. Why? Because the Unity Party is legally being stopped at neck because the Unity Party has withdrawn from the CPP. There is a clause in the CPP, it is called the withdrawal clause, is Article 8.52. It says when you leave the CPP, when you withdraw from the CPP, you cannot be a candidate in your name. The Unity Party announced that it has left the CPP. Now that withdrawal, that departure from the CPP is being even contested legally, that it was not done legally, because they did not follow the mechanism laid down within the CPP framework to constitute a withdrawal. That's one thing. And second thing is when you withdraw the CPP constitution, it says you cannot be a candidate. So the CPP, now this time, the Liberty Party and the ANC say, no, Unity Party cannot be a candidate because they pulled from the CPP. But then, Runyan Samukai, who ran on the CPP ticket and could not take his seat because he got politically handicapped, legally handicapped, and will have to be given or be forgiven by George Weah and the CDC for political reasons, is now campaigning for the Unity Party ticket. When the Unity Party chances of fitting a ticket has a legal block to it, he's campaigning, he doesn't care. So he does not care that he was forgiven by President Weah. All he knows he's been granted clemency. He has forgotten that he has to pay the money in court. He has not paid that money. He is now campaigning, and by this, he is going against the interests of the CDC. This behavior can get him into trouble. And also, he's doing this thing when campaign has not been declared open. This is a man who has been around for so long. He's well educated, well experienced. He's going from place to place. He even spoke that he will campaign actively for the Unity Party ticket when Unity Party has not gotten clearance to run or to be a candidate. When Unity Party candidate is even yet to be shortlisted, he campaigning for a Unity Party ticket that he will campaign throughout the length and breadth of Lofa County. The very way he campaigned for himself, that is what he's going to do. That is a political affront to the CDC. Though it is a right, but it will be a political affront to the CPP, the CDC. That will be a way of not respecting or appreciating the clemency President Weah has granted him. And that is not to say I'm speaking from the city, but I'm just giving you the analysis, folks. That's what it means. So the danger in that is President Weah can pull by and say, oh, are they all this so that my party chances can be much more secure in Lofa? And this is how the guy pays me back? Okay, folks, they can make a decision. Well, you call that guy to the court. He has not paid the money yet. They can nail him legally. This big brother, this father, this well-experienced man to behave in this way, your party candidate is yet to be shortlisted. Your party has a legal blockade to feed a candidate or to feed that candidate. Campaign has not been officially declared. And you are campaigning against CDC that forgiving you for your legal problem, and you still have money to pay, and yet you don't care. How can you get yourself into this? And when his arrests were ordered, he went into hiding. He could not be seen anywhere. He could have been picked up, arrested, and jailed. He was begging for mercy. And yeah, he is being given mercy, and he goes against the one who has granted him mercy. That person controls power still. When they come after him, I'm not saying they should, I'm just telling you what it actually means here. That is my job, to break these things down for you. If the CDC, the president, decide to go after him, he will be responsible for whatever fate he's going to suffer. That is mind-boggling that this experienced man will behave this way. And in all of this, the leader of the Unity Party, in the other issue I want to analyze before I go to my main issue here, is the most recent Joseph Waka's press conference. I wanted to take a whole show to analyze this statement, because this statement does not represent the Boakai we've been projected to, the Boakai who've been sold to us. And Boakai, to his credit, has demonstrated, has proven that he has been what has been communicated. And I've been specific on one thing here, that he is a peaceful man. Waka does not like trouble. He doesn't stand trouble. He does not have the stomach for it. He was not made for it. That is not in his DNA. That is not who he is. When Waka did lose the election, he was gracious in his consensus speech. All right. In a consensus speech, he was gracious. He said, my need will not be you in any shape to spill blood in this country. This young man won, and he should be allowed to take his seat. Waka has no history of violence. He has no history of agitation, even though he was part of the Progressive. In fact, we never heard from him when he was a member of the Progressive. He was with the UPP. The UPP was agitating politically. There were many actors who did show their faces, who spoke. We never heard from Waka. I'm saying this to say he has been the cool, kind, spirited man, peaceful in his nature, who does not go out to confront anybody on anything. That is his nature. But something has happened to Uncle Joe. A ridiculous press statement that threatened the peace and security of the state was written by some incompetent surrogate of Waka. Waka, I'm not sure if he read and processed the statement, and he read a statement that threatened. And he went on to say the people of Lofa will not be disenfranchised. The people of Lofa will not be bullied. I mean, and so on. And then he was speaking in my capacity as former president, former vice president of the Republic of Liberia. I will not allow this to happen. If the people of Lofa are denied again, then we will not sit idly by. And folks, I'm paraphrasing here, and I'm paraphrasing so correctly. That was what Waka said. Mr. Waka, Mr. Samukai, whom the people of Lofa arguably believe was denied, and which is debatable, and I understand that. It was a denial either way you look at it. He won, they stopped him. He was stopped on legal grounds. Should we not respect our laws? Should we not respect our court? So that's why he was denied. There could not have been a much better way to have denied him, is what happened. We can agree was denial, other than using the court to stop him. It was not done through violence. It was not done through some unlawful means. It was done legally. There's a saying that when it is not done legally, it's not done at all. It was done legally, so it was done. And here's the irony. Throughout the time Samukai was going through this process, Vice President Waka did not stand up for him. Some people of Lofa, even the country devil came and stood for Mr. Samukai. The former vice president, we never heard from him. And now he comes and reads a ridiculous statement that carries language that insinuated threat to the peace of the country. He said, now you can stand up for Lofa. When Lofians were raising money to pay this money, where was Waka? And this is the Waka who sat there, and this Samukai guy was forgiving. He didn't intervene. He didn't reach out to President. We had that. Let's work out something here. The young man went through all this, and he, Samukai, too, who knew that he was giving mercy. And Waka says there and allows Samukai to go run a campaign when there is this political, this legal standing against the Unity Party feeding candidate. He has not been shortlisted. He has not been certificated. Campaign has not been declared. This Samukai, who Waka could not help, is now campaigning for Waka's candidate, for Unity Party's candidate. And Waka sees no problem with that, other than to issue a belated statement referencing Samukai legal hurdle that had denied him representation, that had denied the people of Lofa County representation. Waka was not there to speak for the people of Lofa. So, folks, these are some pressing political issues that people are talking about. And I thought to weigh in a little bit on those before I can pivot to my main topic. And now that I have done that, and I hope I was able to make it simplistic for you, let me now come to my major topic for today's edition of the Hour of Politics, which is the narratives of Waka to take or not take the criminal witness stands. This analysis will be politically biting. It will be politically unnerving. You will like it. It will be juicy. It will be thorough, but it will be eye-opening. Wait for it. It's coming. But I cannot do that until I take a short break. So I'm going to take that short break, folks. Do not go anywhere. Let me get this meat together for you. Will Waka testify? Should he testify? What will happen when he testifies? What will happen when he refuses to testify? What will people say about him? What would be the political minuses and pluses? Should he or not testify? You want to know? I'm your guy. A short break, and I will be right back with those pieces of the puzzle. Stay tuned, folks.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis-Ja.
Dennis-Ja, my good friend and partner, thank you. And folks, as you know, I am Ansony Sieh, the host of the Hour of Politics. Here I focus on Liberia, Liberia's most respectful, respected, informative, analytical platform, something that you will not find anywhere else. Some people talk G's, they talk fries, they insult their fellow citizens and friends. We do not do that. We represent Liberia, and we are proud of ourselves, and we are proud of what we do here. And we can go anywhere and knock our chest. Hey, let me stop that. That is not my style. I don't talk about me, for I'm nothing. Look, folks, let's get to it here. The narratives of Waka to take or not take the witness stance. That's the one you've been looking for. Hey, if you have not shared yet, share yet. I'm bringing you political juice here. So, in the ongoing case against Alexander Benedict Cummings that he authored, fingered, and also forged the signature of Nyombli, he forged the signature of Mr. Boakai, he forged the signature of Benina Ure, and he did so to submit the CPP document, and that he made changes in the document before submitting it, not to the knowledge of the other political leaders. Cummings is being prosecuted in court for these allegations. Allegation he has denied, and he became a criminal defendant in a court of law in Liberia. Now, there is another twist to this ongoing case that is politically taking a toll on Cummings. And that case, that twist, is the fact that Vice President Joseph Yemambuaka has been shortlisted to be a criminal witness. And so the deal here is, should Waka go and testify against Cummings to tell that, yes, my signature was forged, and that, yes, according to our investigation done under the able leadership of Nyombli Kanka Lawrence, the framework document was fingered and that it was altered, and no one did it other than Alexander Benedict Cummings. Will Waka take that witness stance? Should he take that witness stance and make this statement that will become a testimony against Cummings that will be material enough to lead to a decision or a judgment in the case? Should Waka make that decision? Should he do? Should he? Should he do it? If and when Waka does, what will it say about Waka? What will it do to the case? I am your guy. Let's get to it again. So a few things going to happen. Number one, let's start with what will happen and what will be said if Waka appears and takes the criminal witness stance as a criminal witness in the case. What will happen? What will people say? I got them. Number one, this is what will be said. This is what will be the narrative. If Waka appears and takes the criminal witness stance, his supporters, those who are in his corner, his surrogates, will say Mr. Waka respects the rule of law. Mr. Waka is law-abiding. Mr. Waka has set a good example as a leader, that he was invited by the court, that he got a subpoena from the court to appear on the witness stand to testify, and he did. And so he respects the rule of law. He is a law-abiding citizen, and he has set a good example as the leader in the country that many can follow, that when a court invites you, summons you, subpoena you, you must obey and appear for respect of the rule of law and demonstrating that you are a law-abiding citizen. That will be the narrative. And the Waka people are going to sell it to his advantage. Oh, and that is right, and I get it. Number two. So what will that appearance of Waka also do for him? It will cement his ties with Nyombli. Waka has been purporting with Nyombli politically to be a possible running mate. Nyombli is a little anxious here because she knows her political relevance as a national candidate is immense. And there is a little competition in their camp we are hearing that Benin Yure will also love to be a candidate, even though he's not being so robust about his quest. So if Waka takes the witness stands, that will mean that he's going for the kill. That would be Nyombli's expectation. So it would draw Nyombli into his corner. That means also, folks, he will appease Nyombli, and not only Nyombli, he will also appease Costa. Costa has been one of those in Waka's corner who wants to see Mr. Comey prosecuted, found guilty, because it will pay them political dividend. And they are right in that calculation. It will pay them political dividend. And that is justified, folks. So it would draw Costa more in Waka's corner. Costa have been a little bit apprehensive here about Waka. More so is Ure. Ure would say, wow, I said it, that the document was altered, that it was fingered, and that their signatures or our signatures were forged, and Mr. Waka went for the political kill in the court of law to affirm, to confirm his party's position, our camp position, that this is what Mr. Cummings did. Mr. Waka has done it. Mr. Waka has come or has proven that what, or has confirmed in a court of law, not just anywhere else, what I have been saying all along. He and Waka will be on a much better footing again, because we are hearing that things might not be a little rosy there. And so to sum it all there, if Waka goes to testify as expected by his camp, that he will testify against Cummings, it will cement his ties with Nyombli, Costa, and Ure. It will appease his side. It will pacify his side. It will placate his side. It will certify them, and they will be a little more united. That is what it will do. Number 3. Now, Waka, when he takes that criminal witness stands, though, what might possibly happen? What will others say? What will happen also is that this is a former vice president of the Republic of Liberia who is taking a criminal witness stand in the court of law. To some people, it will mean that Waka is being legally humiliated in the court of law to take a criminal witness stand. The former vice president is a criminal witness in a criminal court, and he's been asked and subpoenaed by the court. He's been asked that you must appear at all time. And the other thing that will be happening is that they will ask him questions, and he will be compelled by a law to answer the questions. Would Waka want that? Would that be a good thing for him? Will he feel humiliated? Will he feel belittled when he appears? Would that be the case? Also, folks, what will happen is that he will have to answer questions from Seaman Serena Cephas, the Solicitor General of Liberia. I mean, yeah, he will be able to answer questions from Seaman Serena Cephas, the SG. Yes, he's the Solicitor General of Liberia. And this guy, we know he is in President Wia's corner. Now, their case here is benefiting the CDC only. It's not benefiting Cummings. It's not benefiting the Boakai as yet, even though Boakai side expects a political dividend, a political benefit. Should Cummings be found guilty, then it will benefit them, because it might handicap him from contesting, or if not, it will stick this narrative against him, which will be a difficult thing. So they will benefit. But as we speak, maybe they are benefiting, but not as much yet, right? So what's going to happen is Seaman Serena Cephas will be asking Waka questions. And because Seaman Serena Cephas is basically representing the interest of the government of Liberia, President, we are not necessarily Benin Ure, he will ask Waka questions that will embarrass Waka, some things that he will he will not want to say, he will be compelled to say those things, just to embarrass him. And that would be humiliating enough for the vice president. That is one of the reasons he started saying, should we let it go? This Runyan Samukai guy here, he's up to something. And of course, he's up to something. Another thing is that this guy, Runyan Samukai, will be the man to cross-examine Waka as a criminal witness in a criminal case. And Runyan Samukai may decide to go ballistic, legally speaking, against Mr. Waka while he's taking the witness stand. And Mr. Waka's spirit might get quenched. And this is an astute statement who served as vice president. Now he takes a criminal witness stand in a criminal case and has been cross-examined. He's been asked questions, been made to say some things that he would rather not say. He's been put into an uncomfortable situation by a Runyan Samukai, who is an agent of CDC, an agent of the government, who is on a mission here to destroy the entire opposition. And Waka now will be doing something against himself, either knowingly, unknowingly, either directly or indirectly. Because even if he goes for the kill against Cummings, a death, political death, yes, for folks, for Cummings, Waka may not see it as a political mandate for him, but definitely it is. Because if Waka is to win, he needs all the opposition to do so. So when Cummings is prosecuted and is found guilty, should that happen, or even if he will not be found guilty, but if Waka is to testify that yes, Cummings did these things, if Cummings does not go to the second round, if Waka goes to the second round, the Cummings side will not support Waka, which will be a political mandate for Waka. Waka will be placed in the same situation he found himself in 2017. So looking at all of these, folks, the Unity Party people are saying maybe it's not a good thing for Waka to appear. But they don't have that many choices, folks. Actually, they don't. I will make it simple for you. I will do. That's my job. So let us make progress. The other question we need to ask that is significant to the presentation is, what will happen, what will be said if Waka refuses to take the criminal witness stand? Oh my goodness. What will happen if Waka says, I'm not going? I am not going to testify for obvious reason. What will be said? What will happen? What will also happen? So first of all, what will happen politically? And what will also happen legally? Could they possibly lead to a legal trouble for Waka? Will he get in trouble or any jeopardy legally? You want to know the answers? I got them. First of all, in law, when you are subpoena or issue a subpoena by the court, you must appear. But before I can go into that, the key thing here is that legal term subpoena. So let us bring some literature here for that. What is a subpoena? A subpoena is a raid commanding a person designated in, meaning you're in a case, to appear in court under a penalty for failure. Number two, a subpoena is an extraordinary power by the court. What is said about subpoena that we need to know? Legally, all subpoenas must be obeyed by the one who received the subpoena. Again, a subpoena is an extraordinary power by the court. What it basically means is an order from the court requesting something. It might be that a particular witness appear, and when you are issued a subpoena, it comes with a date. that you must appear. Now, if you choose not to appear, you have to communicate that to the court, that I cannot appear and yet are my reasons. And when you communicate that reason for which you do not want to appear on the day stipulated in the subpoena, the court will evaluate your reasons for which you say you cannot appear. And it is the courts, after reviewing your reason, will make a determination whether or not those reasons are sufficient enough to grant you absence or to not appear. When a court makes a decision that your reasons are not sufficient enough and that you must appear, that person legally must appear. So the next question is, what happens when the court makes a decision that you must appear and that your reasons are not enough? What happens when that court makes that decision that your reasons are not enough and you must appear, and then the person refuses to appear? What happens? What happens is the court issue an arrest order for that person, and that the person living body must be brought in court. Why? Because that person's refusal, after the court have made a judgment or an evaluation that your reasons are not germane enough to be excused from court, that person refusal then constitute what we call a disrespect to the court. That means that person has disrespected the court. That person can be held in contempt by the court. That contempt will compel the court to issue an arrest order for that person to be brought into court. And usually, from what I'm being told, and from our research and talking to some legal minds, when that person is brought to court, though they have explained reasons that were rejected, the person will be asked again to show reason why, after the court has communicated that you must appear, and then the person did not appear. Whatever the person's reasons will be, the court will then order that person to be taken to jail for holding the court in contempt, for offering at a contempt to the court or disrespecting the court. That is what the court will do. So that answers the question, what will happen legally should Mr. Waka refuses to appear when subpoenaed by the court? That's what's going to happen. Now, your next question might be, has this happened before? Oh, yes, I did the research. Oh, yes, it has happened before. Has it happened in Liberia? Oh, yes, it has happened in Liberia. Has it happened to a Liberian? Oh, yes, it has happened to a Liberian. Was that Liberian a big government official? Oh, yes, he was big government official. Was that person even higher than Waka? Oh, yes, that person was higher than Waka. Or maybe for people to understand a little more, yes, that person, in terms of governmental assignment and responsibility, that person, I want to say for your understanding, say that person I can say is higher, but I will also say was higher than Mr. Waka. What do I mean by that? Why am I using was, is, just for the sake of understanding? Let me provide the meat. There is a gentleman called Judy Bryant. Judy Bryant was the head of state for the National Transitional Government of Liberia. You remember that? That's the guy that came in after World War I, World War II, who was head of state for 2 years. Judy Bryant government was audited by ECOWAS and the international community. The report said Judy Bryant government was corrupt. So because of that, Judy Bryant was called by the court to appear to answer questions regarding the allegations of corruption that took place in his government. Judy Bryant Upon receiving the court request, why do I have to go there? I'm not going anywhere. Judy Bryant, former head of state of the Republic of Liberia, this is around 2009, I believe, from what I read. Judy Bryant refused to appear before the court. Judy Bryant was requested for the second time. He refused again. What did the court do? Because he did not honor the court subpoena in Liberia. This is a true story I'm telling you. Judy Bryant was sent for by the court. At that time, as former head of state, he have security guarding him. He has SSS security personnel providing him security as former head of state. Despite those security providing him security, Judy Bryant could not be spared. The former head of state was dragged from his home and taken to court. When he got at the court, he was asked to give reason why he disrespected the court order. The court held him in contempt. Julie Bryant did not give any reasonable explanation to the court why he disrespected the court order. He did not obey the subpoena that was issued for his appearance in court. Judy Bryant had nothing to say. And so the court, in court, ordered that Judy Bryant be taken to jail. Former head of state was taken to court. Judy Bryant spent days in jail at Sieh Beach in Monrovia, Liberia, folks. There is a serious consequence, legalistically speaking, when one disobeys a subpoena from the court. The court will hold you in contempt, and you will face the legal consequences. And the rest is history. Julie Bryant went to jail. Sadly, that head of state will start having some health issues, and he passed away. I'm now a psychologist to say that maybe the humiliation that he had to go through probably might have put some stress and pressure on him, but that is not my area to go. That's not my thing. So let us come to the issue. What will happen should Mr. Waka team decide that he's not going? That is likely. That is very likely because Runyan Samukai said that anybody who refuses to appear as a criminal witness will be subpoenaed to appear, and you cannot disobey that. And you may not have justifiable reason not to say, because according to the complaint, Waka was one of those who was being injured. That's the language the legal people use. They said Waka's signature was forged. The authoring of the framework document injures Unity Party, indirectly injures Mr. Waka. Benin Euro, who took the case, who is, I think the name for it, he's the prosecuting agent, if I'm not mistaken. And sorry, folks, bear with me, I'm not a legal guy yet. He might be the prosecuting agent here. I think that's the language. Maybe that's the one for several cases, so let me leave that territory. But Waka is being injured because Benin you will carry a case and say Waka signature of 4, Nyomli signature of 4. So the CDC is clear, and that is legal. Whether it's politically driven, but it is legally in line. It's in line. It's law. It's due process, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a game that Runyan Samukai can subpoena or Waka to appear. Normally, Kaka Lawrence to take the witness stand to testify against him. Because doing that will show that these leaders are not able to take care of their own problems. Now, here is Mr. Waka, who is on record for saying George Weah is a boy. You cannot give a man job to a boy. Hey, Lord. I'm ready today. Waka said you cannot give a man's job to a boy. So Joshua is a boy. Okay. So what kinds of men, what kind of leaders in the CPP who have communicated with us that, and for me, I'm agree with them that Joshua government is a waste of time. Joshua government is a waste of time. Joshua government is not doing well at all for our people. The corruptions we hear about, the mysterious deaths we hear about, it's like one corruption story every month. Look, we are government is the whole government is a complete letdown. But that is not for today. That's for another day. But the point I'm making here is that I and we and many Liberians have agreed with the CPP that we was not up to the task. The CDC was not up to the task. At least that's the argument they made. Many people believe them, and I believe them. And Waka, the elder in the room, said, it's a boy. You can't give a man job to a boy. And when you are a man, if you have your home, you want to make sure you get your home together. They said they were made we are a wanted president. They said the CPP gonna hold. The CPP were tested. They contested. And they won seats. Oh, they have given Liberians hope. So fast forward. You people can resolve your issues. You people are at neck. Those who call themselves men, they gone to the boy neck. Now they have gone to the boy's coat. Mr. Waka and Cummings and Ure. These people. This one you may not have to necessarily blame Cummings, but these guys took the case to court. They could have resolved the issue in-house. They should have resolved the issue in-house. Ure, with the acquiescence of Waka and the United Party and the blessing of Nyomli Kaka Lawrence, they went to court. What they did was to carry the matter to this boy that Mr. Waka told us about. That boy is weird. So it's like the neighbor who tells his neighbors that you see that other neighbor over there, he's a boy, he's irresponsible, he's reckless, and yet he is having issue in his home, and he takes his case to that reckless boy to judge. So here is the parable my man Dennis shared with me. The whole thing here is looking like a rat take his case and he takes his case and takes it to a court of cats. I will repeat that. So here is a rat, and you know the cats are always hunting the rat. So the rat has his case, but he takes his case, or it takes his case to a court of cats, or court held by cats. So you know, rat, the cat already want to eat you. And then you carry yourself in the cat's court and you think you're going to survive? This is the behavior of the CPP, folks. Joshua wants to win. Joshua got afraid of the CPP, especially when the CPP won in Monserrato County with Dillon. The CDC felt that they were done politically. They have no options left. Even at some point, Joshua told his cabinet, said, look, if anybody thinking like, that I'm gonna cheat, it's not gonna happen. You guys gonna do what you need to do. My hands are up. He had given up. But that Joshua fast forward later on said, We will beat them, the market dog, paraphrasing. Because he saw later that the CPP, the thing that held them together, that which could have defeated him, the CPP themselves destroyed it. They didn't even stop there. They took it to where? So we are now grab it, using 7 Sereno C4 and using the WEA's code. We are now is the cat. The CPP leaders are the rats who took their case and took it to a court of the cats. What do you expect the cats to do when the cats are hungry? Meaning when President Weah is hungry for a second term. What would that cat do? That cat going to grab all of those rats and eat them raw. Now your CPP leaders then. That is how they think. That's the elder statement there. That is how he resolved issues. That is your comments. The clean hands guy. That is how he rose with questionable characters, and now he is in trouble and he's getting prosecuted in a court of law. He can't get out. He can't travel without getting an authorization from the court. A decision that he made. That is your Mr. Cummings, the good guy. The guy who says you can't be doing the same thing over and over. His party said we can do business with people that get dirty hands, and they are doing business with them. These leaders are their own problem. And Joshua got them where he needed them. The CDC got them where they needed them. And they will pay a price for it. How they get out, I will close with that. And so finally here, folks, what will happen, what will be said when Waka refuses to take the witness stand is the question that I've been analyzing with the answers, or providing answers for with an analysis. Now, if Waka does not appear, what will be said? What will be said is that Waka does not respect the court, that Waka does not respect the rule of law, that Waka is not law-abiding, and Waka does not respect the very court system that he, as a head of state, will have the privilege to be appointing judges, so he will not be respecting that if he does not show up. That's what I mean. That means that he will be disrespecting the court. The consequence there, like I said earlier, he may be held in contempt by the court. Now, what will also happen is that Waka may not want to appear because he fears that whatever he says may haunt him politically in the future. For example, if we say, well, Cummings authored the document, if Waka goes to second round, Cummings people will say, oh, you did this to our guy, we're not voting for you, Waka may lose. So Waka may not want to go to testify against Cummings. If he decides not to testify, that might be the fear for which he might not want to do that, but legally, he might be getting himself into trouble. So he's between the seesaws here. His options are slain. Now, if Waka does not appear, what would be a narrative there? People will say, well, Waka did not appear because the ANC people narrative will be, well, Waka did not appear because Waka knows that their signatures were not forged. So he does not want to go and say something that he knows did not happen. That is why he does not want to go and testify. So the Cummings force, the ANC people, and some people will run with that narrative that Waka refused to appear because he knows all those things that the men saying are all lies. Cummings didn't author any document, Cummings did not forge any signature, and Waka is not willing to go to the court to lie about it because that might be used against him. So if he does not appear, that is a possible narrative the ANC will pick up and use politically to their advantage. Because they will further say Waka does not want to put his face on something that he knows probably not right, that is complete false. And in the words of the ANC people, they say those are all Trump or charges. Now, another thing that would be said, a narrative there, is that the framework document was not even authored at all. Because if Waka believes that the framework document was authored, then why can't he go to the court and say, oh yes, the document was altered. So a refusal for Waka to appear to testify, it will produce a narrative for the ANC to say, well, Waka knows all along nothing was altered, and that is why he will not even go to the court to say that. So Waka is refusing to go to the court because he knows when he shows up to the court, all right, he will be forced to say that the document was altered, and he does not want to do that. So his failure to go will give the narrative to the ANC to say, look, folks, Waka did not go because he knows nothing was altered. He doesn't want to put himself on record. But the challenge for Waka is that his party, the Unity Party, has said all along that the documents were altered and Waka's signature and the other signatures were false. That has been the Unity Party position all along. So for Waka not to appear, it means that Waka is even going against the official position of Unity Party. So what kind of leader he is, even though it can be done by a leader, you can disagree with your party or your institution, but Waka too has believed and agreed with his party that the framework documents were altered because according to his explanation in one of his press statements, that the documents were altered. That is one of the reasons they were leaving the CPP in the first place. So why would you not want to go and appear to testify, to confirm, to affirm that which has been your position and also your party's position? So a failure to appear, though we get in legal trouble, will also produce a narrative for the ANC that they were used to their political advantage, that Waka does not want to appear because he knows nothing was altered. That's what will happen. He will be disagreeing with his party. And if Waka does not appear, what will further happen is that it will awaken a conflict that is in the Unity Party. That conflict will be awakened. That conflict will not set into motion to explode. And I guarantee you that conflict is going to come. It will explode big time. And Waka fear might be, if he goes and testifies against Cummins, whatever happens, the fact that the CPP, that is the Cummins side, the ANC, and the Liberty Party, are now picking up a case that they started at the National Election Commission, that Waka cannot fee a candidate, not Waka, but the Unity Party cannot fee a candidate. Whatever the outcome going to be at next, this CPP, this Unity, the ANC, and the Liberty Party going to take that case to the Supreme Court. They were going to take it to the court. And they were going to pursue it to the point that it reaches the Supreme Court. And by doing that, it will follow delays Waka. Candidates say the Unity Party's chance of filling Waka as its candidate in 2023. But because remember, the CPP framework document is clear that when you leave the CPP, you cannot fill a candidate in your name as a political party. So the Unity Party, knowing that, even wrote a letter to the CPP and saying, hey, we want you to remove our logo from the CPP logo. You cannot use it. But the CPP document is legal. And here's the thing too, though, folks. How can Waka go to testify that this CPP document was altered? How can he go to do that when the very Waka, his party did fee candidates on that CPP document and they won? So when did he get to know it was altered? He have to answer that question. When did he get to know this document was altered? When he accepted the chairmanship of the CPP. When he and his party celebrated the certification of the CPP. When did he get to know that? These are some of the questions he needs to answer, and it will be humiliating for him in the court of law. And finally, folks, not testifying will not go well for Ure, for Nyomli, and for Costa. Waka will get on the bad side of Nyomli, of Waka and Costa, and more so his political party politically. So Waka is between the scissors here. So if the subpoena is issued that he's going to appear, what he's going to do, he doesn't have that many options. whether he appears or not, he will have some issues to deal with. If he does not appear, his issue will even be bigger, some of which might get him in trouble legally and possibly jail term if all the legal options are exhausted. That is likely. It happened to Judy Bryan. It may well happen to him. So to explain the last point there, if he refuses to appear, Nyomli will not be happy. Ure will not be happy. Costa will not be happy. They might possibly decide to not go with him because those three know that the best way their opponent, Cummings, they can cut him off and minimize his chances is to use this court case in a court of law and prove that yes, he authored the document and that yes, he forged that signature. So Waka refused to go and like pour out one of the final nails in this coffin that will benefit them politically. Waka refused to do that, will annoy them, will put Waka in a bad boat with the three political actors, Nyomli, Ure, and Costa. They might well abandon him, and that will not be pretty for Waka. What is Waka going to do? And Waka party too will say, how can you do this? The party position has been, this thing was altered, your signature was forced, and you refuse to go and testify. And Waka cannot even say, I'm going to go there and I'm not going to say something, I'm going to play mute. No, you're not going to play mute. He will answer questions that he would rather not answer. That is a political dilemma that Mr. Waka is to be in when he appears on the criminal witness stands, and he will earn a title, criminal witness. The former vice president will be cross-examined, and either way you look at it, it will be humiliating for him. Sema Serena Cephas will be cross-examining him, asking him unnecessary questions. He will be on that stand and he will ask questions. And they might even drag it that he takes the criminal witness stand maybe 2 or 3 times, because in Cummings' case, Cummings has gone to court, I think, over 5 or 6 times now, right? They will want to do that for Waka. And all this, legal game, which is legal, is the CDC going to drag this thing and drag this thing. Election is not yet. They continue to drag it and drag it. It benefits them. So to conclude, these are the narratives that will come. These are the things that will happen politically. These are the difficult situations Mr. Waka will get in. Should he appear or not appear to take the criminal witness stand in their case against Mr. Cummings? Whatever he does, it is not going to benefit the opposition. It's going to benefit the CPP. It's going to benefit the CDC. The CDC is the winner here, and that is sad. That is sad. That is humiliating. That is distasteful for these so-called opposition people who felt that they were the one that were coming to rescue this country. Just to realize that they have not even gotten power yet. They are fighting among themselves and destroying themselves and taking themselves to court. I mean, how in the world these people, these are 2 men running for one office, they can't even reach a deal. Cummings cannot reach a deal. And some people would have an issue. Oh, why are you talking about deal? Why people can't go to primary? Where the competition in Liberia? I like competition. Sometimes competition not necessary. Sometimes, get me right here. Sometimes, because the thing about consensus is an option that's what in the CPP framework. You do consensus. Consensus is where the 2 persons come together and say, hey, all right, I allow you to go number 1. But in order for me to allow you to go number 1, let's agree on these things. They agree on that, then they reach a consensus. Case closed. Or you go to a primary. You go to the primary, whoever wins becomes the CPP candidate. That person pays a vice president. You go. These 2 options have been so simple. Why could these men not agree to any of these 2 options to produce a candidate and go against Mr. Weah to do what they promised they would do to make president. We are a one-term president, but instead they start fighting. And what it proves is that they are in the thing just for what they get. The presidency, that's all they care about. They don't care about you. They don't care about the Liberian people that are suffering. While they are fighting among themselves, while the guy they are set in weird coats and weird neck, weird is doing little project here and there. The only person that people see that we are they see. They may have accounted toward the other time, one project here and there, even though those things we can question a lot of them. But at least they saw him. At least he tried to do small little thing here and there. If the people don't see the opposition, and the opposition, because of what they're doing, they are not holding the government accountable. The whole government now is left with media institutions, so-called advocates, are the one trying to hold the government accountable. The opposition leaders who are supposed to do it, they are fighting. They are fighting. They are fighting just to be on a ticket. They have abandoned the Liberian people. They have left the Liberian people in the hands of Joshua for Joshua and his government to subject them to misery and most suffering. That is what these people have done. If the voters come to punish these people, I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised, and it is most likely, or it is not impossible to pull it right. It is not impossible. So, folks, that is my presentation for today. I know I was a little longer, which was necessary, because prior to my main topic, I was able to drill on 4 other issues. And the fact that we were able to get all that these issues to you in an analytical fashion, I show that you got something today from us. And I hope you will appreciate it. And we can't say thank you enough for always watching us here at Focus on Liberia, where we always educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. What I'm going to do now is to take a very short break. And when I come back, I will be taking phone calls and I will be reading some comments as well. So if you want to participate, get that phone ready, and comments will also be rolling, folks. Stay tuned.
Enter your PIN followed by the pound or hash. Thank you.
All right, folks, we are back with you here, Ansony Sieh. The phone line is set up, and the phone line there is in the scrolling text below. That is the number that starts with 605-313-6004, and don't forget to enter the pound 791-403 to join the conversation. Again, the number is 605-313-6004. Enter the code 791-403 to participate. If you have a comment, if you have a question, whatever you wish to share to be part of the discussion, you can so do right now. At this time, I will read few comments, very few. This one is from Emmanuel, bro. It goes without saying that the hungry chicken will swallow up the cockroaches. Oh, yes, he said it right. This one is from Lami and Sieh. That war is witness, now witness. Thank you for correcting me. There is witness, he said. I appreciate that correction. From Emmanuel, answering the CPP situation with the CDC-led government can be likened to a group of cockroaches taking its case to a court of hungry chickens. That is correct. And then focus on Liberia, the equal opportunity political bulldog. That is from my partner, Dennis Jha, trying to be part of the conversation there. Let us also hear from Vani Hade. How did you expect Waka to resolve the issue when Cummings was walking out of everything? That is the question he's asking. So all Waka has to do is to just walk away, he said. A designer Cummings refused on several occasions to have the case resolved in-house. So Waka said, well, the river is stopping me, so I'm going back. And for the president, he should not take on every little project. The vice president can do some of these projects if the president can give her the opportunity to do them. All right. Let me hear from a dear friend, Christopher Osiaka. I call him the Siaka, and he called me the Ansony. All right. The SG will not be cross-examining Waka, but rather direct examination because his state witness, he will be cross-examined by the defense lawyers. Thank you for that correction, my dear friend. So he will do direct examination. Is the opposite side that will do the cross-examination. Thank you so much. That is not my area there. But yeah, from Keba Aku, you are not fair. The SG didn't tell the opposition to finger the document, so stop lying on the SG. If you are talking to me, I don't know how I'm lying on the SG. Or Augustine Tamba from my home place of Necro Town. Unfortunately, the same kind of Liberians like you who became blind loyally to this bandy and his criminal, he said. Yep. I don't know what he's talking about there. Emmanuel Charles, right? It will be sweet for JMB. Thanks to his friend Ure, they didn't see all this coming before lying on Mr. Cummings. Let me go to more comments here. Yeah, from Isaac Harris, Waka had every right to testify. However, there is something in the rule of law during court processes called cross-examination. Last time I checked, it can be very vigorous. Hopefully, Mr. Waka is prepared because it's going to be testy, he said. Let me hear from Eugene Hammer. This is a black lies. No, this is black lie from hell. Fake news. Do you research and you get the right information? I don't know what information he's talking about. I don't know, you're talking about the Judy Bryan thing. Yes, I researched it. Mr. Ansony Sieh, not surprisingly, Weah has become the richest African president in just 5 years, but we take consolation from the fact that every long road has an end, just as every evil regime must come crushing down. Let's hear from Jala Phillips. Really, Mr. Sieh, it seems like you are one that is trying to bring problem in the country from your output. He said, I'm bringing problem for breaking things down. If that is problem, I will bring you problem for breaking things down. With K. Francis, right? Answering that's your opinion and being forgiving of a particular crime or whatever does not deny one his right to participate or support any party of his choice. I'd agree. But that means he's being ungrateful, right? We all see it differently, and I enjoy your part of it. Your analysis about the CDC and Samukai are your opinion and not what led to the clemency. And that's my opinion. I didn't say that's my opinion. I agree, that's my opinion. When you are pardoned by a president, you are free. You cannot be charged with that particular crime again. So technically, they cannot hold him anymore. He's a free man. I didn't say he's a free man. When somebody forgives you and then you go pointing your finger in the person's face, and if the person will not feel good about that. First of all, like I said, he has to pay the money. He has not paid the money yet. Anyway, let me leave that. Let people have their opinion, just as I did. My Sieh is a Liberian who wants to see good things happening in Liberia. his ascendancy is a political earthquake. Wow. That is Roblate Sarah Snen. I like your first name, Roblate. Anyway, I know what it means, but I will keep that. Joseph Na Sieh. Why are you always antagonizing President Weah on your talk show? If that is antagonizing, I will keep doing it. I will not stop. Please show one of your development in Liberia since indeed you pretend to know it all. Can you show me President Weah development in Liberia before becoming president? His development in Liberia before becoming president. Can you show me one? For my development, I have zero. Zero, I don't have. Gina and Philip, 2023, never been here, my dear. So it's not coming back. Instead, it's coming. That person writes. A lot of great comments here from Prince or Croma. You are very wrong. Honor Weah as captain of Lone Star. Liberia qualified for 2 Nations Cup. You're not even paying attention, Prince. I said the man as president. Liberia has never qualified for anything, man. Liberia qualified for African Cup. You know, Prince, are you paying attention here, Prince? You're talking about 1996 and 2000. Was president? We are president in 2000. Prince, pay attention, bro. Like here from Momo Harris, you are right, brother. They totally handled the investigation the wrong way. That is why people are thinking that's up, that it's a cover up. Yep. Maki as Manu. The president is trying to cover up the incompetent people he have working in the GOL that he is not willing to let go. Then let's hear from Norma Harris. Norma is new here. Welcome. Keep watching us here. If you look at his Facebook page, you will see that he has had similar incident prior to one that led to her death. Really? All right. This is significant information, but you are the first person I'm hearing it from. So thank you for providing that information. So, folks, this is how we will be breaking down the curtains. The phone line has been open, and no one is willing to participate. And I like that, too, because it makes my job easier. Probably that is a confirmation that I did a very good job. And I really, really want to commend those who disagree with me. And I want to commend you. Let's come and disagree. And because in this agreement, we can find a better way. We can gain better understanding of the issues. Something that you see that I don't see, maybe if you point it out, I may get to see it, and that may inform my thinking of that issues or that issue going forward. So, folks, let me conclude this thing. The case between Cummings and Benign Ure that is now in court, though a legal case, has the potential to deliver political benefits. Who gets the benefit is the one who will have his chances increase and subsequently be the winner in 2023. The question is, will it be Cummings? Who will resurrect from this case? Who will gain a narrative that he was being wrongfully accused, that he was being lied on, and that the government and Benign Ure and the side of the Unity Party and the Liberty, the ALP, actually lied on him and they didn't have any evidence to prove? And if that narrative is established after all this is said and done, will Cummings come out of the court as a much better politician that he has not been? And will he be able to capitalize on that to increase his standing with the Liberian people and make the case to the Liberian people that he is the clean guy who came to change the system. And because those who have been benefiting from the system don't like what they see coming, that is why they had to nail him to the cross in the court. And where his narrative be received by the Liberian people, and where that narrative spread and grow, and where he not stop there and go and grow the CPP that is practically left with him and the ALP, just a faction of the the LP, sorry, with Cummings and his ANC and Musability and his side of the Liberty Party grow the CPP because ALP left and Unity Party left and some part or half of the Liberty Party left. Well, what is left of the CPP, which is the ANC Cummings and Liberty Party ability, will they grow it? Will they open the tent? Will they broaden it? The thing is, these two sides, they got some money. Ability has some money. He works politically. He's savvy. He knows the terrain. He knows this player. He has deeper pockets. And about Cummings, money is not his problem. He's willing to spend about $25 million to secure the presidency. It's his only problem, this court case. And when that court case gets out of the way, does he get on the freeway to cruise to the political promised land? Does he have allies in his corner who will come to complement whatever effort, whatever narrative he will be gaining from this court case should he survive the court? And would that be enough if he does not have Unity Party? Of late, we've seen, heard, reported some members of Unity Party left the Unity Party and went to Cummings. We heard also, and we know, members of ALP left and went to Cummings, and many other political parties. They have been growing the tent, as been reported. Is that enough? Will it be the end of Cummings? We don't know. Where Cummings, who presumably have been the one to be the biggest loser in this court case, flip the thing around and becomes the bigger winner. Is that even possible? Or it depends what he does, what his side does, how he navigates the political terrain, the actors that he will bring together, the audience that he's going to seek, the pieces of advice that he will seek from everybody. If he gets the real information, if he gets the real strategy, and he applies it robustly and forcefully, yes, he may. I don't know. With Mr. Boakai, benefit from the case. After all, he's not the one who's being accused. After all, he is the one who has the most name recognition next to President Weah. After all, he is from the biggest political party. After all, he is the one whose political party, the Unity Party, in 2005 went to second round. 2011 went to second round. 2017 went to second round. 3 solid times. So he stands the most chance of making it to the second round, along with the CDC, possibly so. And when that happens, where he not have hurdles in the way, where he not have this legal case that is coming his way to bar him from contesting, where he not be stopped by that. And if he's not stopped by that, will he be able to put a coalition together? Because we heard they put in something at first we heard CUP, Coalition of Unity Party. But then they flip it around, they said that was not good. They're bringing something we heard, Democratic Alliance of Liberia, DAL. Somebody pronounced it die. Does that mean that he's going to die another political death in the political wilderness? Will he? I don't know. Time will tell. Presumably also, folks, the greatest benefactor, the greatest winner of all this case, all about this case is George Weah. This guy is enjoying himself as we speak. He's feeling good. The CDC is feeling good. Why are they feeling good? The ones who should have defeated them. Those ones whose unity, whose collaboration was the final nail in his coffin politically. They became the little rats and they took their case to his court. And where is a cat? Cat eats rats. That is what they did. And so do you not think we will not eat this rat? So that the rat in the night will not be able to eat his clothes. I don't think we is prepared for that. If anything he is afraid of, he does not want to be seen audited. He does not want to see being prosecuted. And so now that he has gotten these guys that should have presumably done this thing to him, he got them on his feet. His knee is on their neck. Will he release them? Will he take the benefit that this presents and use it? And while they are fighting, he's doing little projects here and there. Will those projects be enough? With the infighting of the CPP continue to show him as the better side here in the eyes of the voters, that despite all of the massive corruption going on, at least there's no infighting in his political party. At least he's doing little projects. At least there's a little bit of stability in his camp compared to the CDC. Is that how the voters going to see him? And would that be enough for them to say we are going to George Weah? We are tired of the infighting in the CPP. Will he use this case to benefit bigly? Why would he not want to do that when he wants to be president? Why would he want to let this case go so soon that he gets in a terrible position again? Why would he want to do that? I think he would do everything to make the case to linger around and keep these guys in court. Why maybe he runs his campaign intelligently. Erele Mange is dishing millions around Liberia in the name of student fees, school fees for students across Liberia. Why will he not continue to do that? That these leaders are not saying in these countries, and that he's the only one saying, because Liberia will see him alone as the guy who's doing something for them, and therefore he deserves another term. Will that be the case? Or are the Liberian people suffering enough? Are they being crushed by higher prices for gasoline, higher prices for transportation, goods and services? Are they suffering? Their children are not in schools. Are the hospitals become death camps for them? Are they tired of the ritualistic killing? Are they living in fear? Are they tired with Corin going and coming, Corin not coming? Are they tired of Papa not coming home with a blood plastic bag? Are they have enough of the suffering, of the death news, of the mayhems, of the mystery, of the corruption? Are they tired of these things that they continue to endure day after day under the Weah's government? And are they going to be resolved to say, no matter what, we just don't want George Weah? Will it be like the scenario in 2017 that we are tired of Unity Party? We just want anything different. We just want change. Will the message be about change? And will change mean any other person other than George Weah? Will that be the psyche of the voters in their majority? Will that be? If that will be, Weah may not win. But if that will be the opposite, Weah stands a chance. Who benefits? Who wins the government to come? Who wins the next election to pull it right? I don't know yet. But these variables will play out, and the Liberian people will decide at the end of the day. I want to say thank you for watching. The song says, "We are all Liberians," and that song takes us home. Until I catch you again, I want to say to you, Focus on Liberia will be on the radio tomorrow. That is Prime FM 105.5. Will be on the radio in Liberia at 9 p.m. GMT, which will be 5 p.m. Eastern Time here in the U.S. Our guest will be Alosha To, Secretary General of the ANC. He looks like a tough political guy. He's going to be in the hot seat. You don't want to miss it. Well, I have to take leave of you now. And I want to say thank you for always watching our broadcast here and always sharing as well. The song is "We Are All Liberians," and folks, bye-bye.
We are Liberians.